Can't forget that. So with conscious decoupling, you've got to imagine that a motivation, there's going to be natural slips. That's part of the process, and it might be quite heartening to you to know that that is the case. But you also might be thinking, oh, how am I gonna make the kind of progress that I want to make if I keep having slips? What if I never reach the sort of end goal or the target weight? And if that is your concern, you might like to get in on a little secret that psychologists know that motivation is not the boss of you. And a lot of women that we speak to, especially in the free group, think that that is the case. I'm just not motivated right now. My head is not in the right place. These are things that pop up, and it's just like, it's wrong. It's wrong because you give motivation a certain power that is all encompassing when you frame things like that. Psychologists know that it really is possible to do something even if you aren't motivated to do it. You can sort of decouple action from motivation by building in actions as if they're separate from motivation. So these ebbs and these flows and these slips and these surges that we talked about with motivation, they're not going to derail you so much. And like you could call it conscious decoupling. Official psychologists don't call it that, but I just like that. It's because you are consciously making a decision to, like, when you separate that motivation from action, you can steadily move forward beneath the waves. In the analogy last week, I talked about there's the submarine that moves beneath the waves of motivation, just like, and the surfer is riding those waves, right? So the surfer would be on the surface and the wave would come and they go, wee, and then they'd wait for the next wave. And, that's when the motivation is low. And that submarine deep down, still, in still water, in essence, undeterred by the surface waves, not subject to the ebb and flow of motivation. It's just making steady progress, steady progress. And to make things sustainable, to make realistic decisions and routines about what you're going to do in various situations that are already tied to other habits you have. I've talked about habit stacking, habit bundling before. I even chatted to Laura yesterday about it, just touched on it. Basically, whenever you do these things, whenever you separate the action from the motivation, you are going to set yourself up for better success, right? Let's say you're motivated to exercise every morning until you are not. If you put a routine into place, like laying clothes, exercise clothes or trainers or something, in the conspicuous area, that is something you're going to bump into. Like if you're having your workout playlist on your phone ready to go, as soon as the alarm goes off or whatever, and then you go down and make a coffee, and all your gym kit is there, or whatever it is that you do, it's queued up on your phone. If you always do this, then in the morning, whether you feel like it or not, you'll be far less likely to skip the exercise or the walk or the yoga. Everything is right there, ready to go in your line of sight. So you might as well just go ahead, whether you're motivated or not. Because decisions in the moment that require work will likely succumb to that ebb and flow with that motivation. So you'll ride with the motivation and you'll be that surfer. But if you've already prepared for it, you're not going to have any decisions to make when it feels difficult. Everything's decided. I've got my gym stuff ready. I've got my playlist there. I've got my water bottle there. It's all done. Whereas if you wake up and you're like, I don't feel like it today, and I've got to get my workout stuff ready, and I haven't filled up my water bottle with my favorite electrolytes, or I haven't done the like you're putting so many obstacles in your place, consciously or subconsciously you are putting so many obstacles in your face that you're making it more challenging to reach, right? And one of the things that I like to do is there is we call this sometimes we've used this with clients on a one-to-one basis. It's called the Motivation SOS plan. It's a plan basically before your motivation drops, so you can take action before you derail and go off and just regain weight or just don't train or whatever. And the concept is based on a psychological term or psychological strategy called implementation intention. And there's loads of science showing that implementation intentions work really well. Basically, they're if this, then that plan, right? So the strategy is really to identify what is your usual pattern surrounding behavior you're trying to change. Like if you're like, after I have had a bad day at work, I get stressed, I reach for wine, right? Snacks, chocolate, whatever it is. Then if you create an if, then plan, if I've had a bad day at work and I'm stressed, then I will call a friend, watch a comedy show, go for a walk outside with my partner, whatever. This helps to create desired habits that people can maintain without needing to feel consciously motivated. But the motivation SOS plan in our coaching basically has three parts. So it has the warning sign, it has the danger zone, and it has the reaction. So the warning sign is what you do or don't do. So when your motivation starts to recede a little bit, sort of like my hairline, let's say you've got all of your goal or you're tracking all your meals, you're sending all your meals to me, you're like, I'm absolutely flying. You know that people who tend to keep a food diary, log their meals, send it to me, whatever, tend to be more successful in reaching their weight loss. That's why we have the weekly food diaries. That's why we get people to report their food. Now, knowing this research supports this habit, you've decided to do it, right? You're motivated. And looking at the supportive research is a really great way to stay motivated. If you know that something is going to work, you're going to be like more inclined to do it, right? But then after a really hard week at work, you've had a little argument with the boss, whatever, you wake up on a Saturday morning, you're realizing, fucking hell, I didn't actually factor in that pizza last night and that couple of glasses of wine. And you just, I don't really know what to do. And what would that do to my weekend if I had to factor that in? Would that mean I had to have less today, or would I have to drop my calories back a bit? So you're like, fuck, I'll just skip it. I'll get back onto it today, right? Now you're in the danger zone. When you realize that your warning sign is becoming a problem, it's a red flag. So the one meal that you didn't log, didn't factor in, not a problem normally, but in this instance, you could potentially turn into a whole weekend of not logging the food, not taking into account, okay, what are we having for? We're going to have for breakfast with the family. Cool, I'll have what I want there. But in the evening, I'm going to have something more nutritious. You stop doing that. And it's because that one meal that you didn't log and you didn't adhere to that sort of warning sign. So now you'll notice that not only are you not logging your food, you've made some dietary decisions that you wouldn't have made if you had been accountable to me, Viola, or just any of us. Maybe you ate more than you wanted to. Maybe you chose some foods that aren't in line with your healthy weight. For example, consistently eating crap across the weekend, right? Who's looking? I'm not logging. Who's looking? If I'm not logging it, then Dean and Viola can't see it. So, this is the danger zone. It probably means something else is going on and that's interfering with that goal pursuit. And you've got an opportunity here to dig a little deeper, see what it is. And then you have that reaction. So remember, we talked three parts: warning sign, danger zone, reaction. The reaction is what you would do when you recognize that you're in the danger zone. This is the SOS part of the SOS plan. And this is when you can pull out your, implementation intentions. So, we can contact you, for example, if we see that you aren't doing your non-negotiables. That's a danger zone for us. If we see that things aren't being reported for, if it's a day, it's not an issue. Sometimes it's just because, oh, I forgot to, I was too tired and battery died, whatever crappy excuse. But if it's 2 days, it's like, hey, what's going on? Like, and that's obviously something we can do. But in your instance, you can do this for yourself. First, you recognize what you've been doing. When I get stressed, I don't log my meals or, when I get stressed, I have 2 glasses of wine. Start to make an if this, then that plan. Because recognizing that it's totally fine to not log your meals once in a while is absolutely okay. But if logging your meals regularly really is the goal, then not doing it for more than a few days probably means you're going in a direction that you don't want to go. And you're burying your head in the sand. So if your if then plan might look something like if I don't log my meals for more than 2 days in a row, then I will something something. Maybe it's reaching out to us. Maybe it's budding up with an accountability partner to help you get back on track. One of the ladies in here who's on the same journey as you. Maybe it's taking 5 minutes to think about in detail, you know, the reason why you want to do this. Maybe it's writing in your journal for 5 minutes about why logging food is important to you. Maybe it's spending 15 minutes reading some studies that you ask us to send you on how effective the food diary is and logging meals in general is for weight loss. Think about your motivation SOS plan. And then, obviously, if you need our help, just let us know. Like, if you want to enlist the help of somebody else as an accountability partner, I'm all for you buddying up and sort of committing to each other in that sense, because you're going to be able to monitor your warning signs. You're going to be able to see where you are in the danger zone. You're going to be able to commit to what your reaction will be when you get into that dangerous, treacherous territory. And your motivation SOS plan is going to act as that sort of lifeboat or that sort of buoy. I think that's some people call it in America. We call it a buoy. Like the inflatable thing you throw out and things like that to help you out because that when you've got that SOS plan and I'm going to put together a document for you for this because I think it's nice hearing it and like you'll be out on your walk listening to this and going, I'm so motivated. But if I don't give you a document and something to literally sit with and intentionally implement, it will probably just go in one ear, jot around your brain for a bit and then out the other ear, and you'll be like, it was good, but I lost what he was saying. So if we write something up for you based on how we'd recommend you do it, and then you can just sort of spend a bit of time with yourself, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because when you've got the SS sort of, let's say, lifeboat stocked, prepped for rescue, next time you find yourself unmotivated, you're just going to have to go, I'm just going to jump into that lifeboat and I'm going to be saved. Because there's nobody in all of and I've been doing this online for nearly 8 years. I've been doing it in person for since I was 20, so 18 years, one-to-one. And there's never been any one person that's just plain sailed through a weight loss thing. There's never been any one client that I've had that's just gone, oh my God, and she's had no need for a lifeboat whatsoever. She's had no setbacks. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And it's true for my journey. It's true for Viola's journey. It's true for your journey. My journey, most recently, even on the live last week, I had a really challenging week. Food wise, this week has been amazing because I've just gone back to sort of the stuff, if this, then that plan. And I literally just implemented that this week. And it hasn't been, my food has been really good this week. My exercise has not been to the level I want to be because I basically am scheduled to do like 7 sessions a week, four weight sessions and 3 cardios. And I've done 2 weight sessions and I would have done 3 cardio. So I've missed basically 2 workouts, which is not ideal for me. It's not where I want to be, but I'm really happy that everything else is on track. My activity was good with steps. My sleep was really good. My food was fantastic. So that SOS plan helped me. And mine basically is if I don't, so one of mine, for example, is if I don't plan out what I'm having for the day, for example, um, if I don't use a food log, if I don't prepare in the morning or the night before for the day uh, preceding, the day coming, then I will succumb to hunger. So whenever we go to the gym, we always go to the gym really early in the morning, right? We wake up at like 4:30. We're at the gym. We're at the house by about 5:10 or so, and then it takes 45 minutes to drive to our gym. Like we have to drive it because it's amazing. But it's an hour and a half of commute. That's already a big obstacle. It's like no one's going to drive 45 minutes to get to the gym. It's horrendous. But it's such a good gym that we go there, we train. On the way back, we pass loads of shops. I am absolutely starving. So I know that if I if I know what I'm having when I get back, I'm good. But if I don't have anything planned and there's crap in the house, I'm really struggling because I've just had an intense gym session. I haven't eaten since 5 a.m. and it's normally about 8:39 by the time we get back. It's a long because it's a long drive and it's a long training session. So I'm absolutely ravenous. So my plan is if I don't have it planned, then I've always got like a protein bar in the bag now to just curb the hunger until I get home. Sometimes we come back, right, at the moment, and if we haven't asked Viola's mum, if she's got a lesson, she does like private English lessons in Germany. So if she doesn't have a lesson, and her lessons really coincide with when we're just getting back, and obviously we don't want to disturb, and the dining room is right next to the kitchen. So like if we don't make it back in time for that before the lesson goes on till 11:30, 11 o'clock. So I have to, you know, try and curb my hunger until then. Impossible. So and then after that, if I haven't fixed it, I'm going to eat shit. I will eat crap because I'm so hungry. I've got zero desire to eat well. And I know what I need to do, but I just can't override that feeling because I suppose the hunger level is like a 10. Like I'm ravenous. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so hungry. Whereas when I'm sort of somewhere between like if the scale was 10 was like a full English sorry, 10 is like 1 is like you just had a full English breakfast or Sunday roast, you're so full you're about to pop, and 10 is like I feel like I haven't eaten for a week. You're so fucking starving. If it's somewhere between 1 and 7, I'm pretty strong. I'm really good. But if as soon as I start getting to the 8s, 9 and 10s and I start to try and chew my own arm off, I am really, really struggling um with commitment to a nutritious meal. I'm just going to plug this in. And that's the biggest thing I wanted to take home today. My battery's dying, so I'm just plugging it in. I want us to be able to understand that motivation is not consistent. Give me a second. I'm nearly there. And to talk about specifically decoupling that your actions from your motivation, conscious decoupling, knowing that you have a choice. Every decision that you make throughout the day is a choice. You decide whether to put that glass of wine in your mouth, you decide whether to eat that nutritious food. But I'm trying to give you tools to empower you to know that motivation is not going to be there week in, week out. It's not going to be there day to day. Sometimes I've had days when I've woke up really motivated and it's just faded throughout the week, throughout the day. Like I wake up, I'm absolutely crushing it today, and then like 12 o'clock comes and I'm absolutely knackered. I'm like, fucking hell. Like, what do I need to do to get through today? And that's when these little motivation SOS plans are really handy. So I will put something together for you. Me and V will put something together for you guys just to make sure that you can action your own little motivation SOS plan because I think it's really handy when things get challenging um, to just have that lifeboat to save you. Because motivation, if it hasn't already in your journey, actually, I'm sure it has for all of you watching. If it hasn't already dipped, it's gonna dip soon. But I'm confident it's dipped for all of us. Sorry, drinking on camera when the microphone's so good, it's like you can hear every gulp. Um, I'm going to open the floor for any questions if you've got any regarding specifically motivation and decoupling. And we'll sort of build on this in terms of sort of what I would call reward theory. We're going to build on that next week. But is there any specific questions that you have regarding motivation, decoupling, anything like that? You can just obviously unmute yourself, raise your hand, text it in if you want, Beverly, whatever. And if there's no um, questions, then I think my explanation was half decent then. Okay. No questions at all. Laura, you don't have any questions.
Why, why just
You,
say like I have millions?
I'm gonna pick you all out. Pick you.
No, I my reflection because I listened to the motivation podcast. There's a few things there on the routine and habits and how they all connect together is what's sinking in for me. So I'm not looking at things in a singular way about motivation. I need to look at my
Mm,
habits, and so it's a bigger process. But it's sleep again affects my motivation. That's the killer for me is sleep, and I want to, and the motivation's there, but I am so knackered because
yeah,
I'm just not getting the level of sleep. And then I listened to the sleep one this week. So then you've got this whole little, as I said, this little, not life cycle, but there's a whole cycle of things that
that's
I need
it.
to master to make sure I'm successful. Whereas, it's not just going, right, I'll do the routine and the habit of making sure my clothes are laid for when I get back for work because I am going out and I am going to do my 10,000 steps a day. That's just one thing on its own. And
That's it.
I've been
Yeah.
looking at it as one thing on its own. Whereas actually I need a few more skills in order to be successful. So that's my reflection of the week. And that's a lot to take in, especially if you're like me. I'm going back to work in a week's time, full time, and there is no time and there is no sleep. There was 1 hour 42 minutes of deep sleep last night. Yeah, I did, and I was in bed at 10:30. 10:30, I was in bed going to sleep. And I'm just waking all the time. So I think you've got to figure out, or I do on my journey, which bit of that process am I really, really struggling with?
Hmm.
Which ones have I nailed and I've totally got it? Um, and then that motivation overlays that, I think, is where I've got to this week.
Yeah. I think you're right. And to kind of build on that, you've got big. You've got big rocks regarding motivation, and sleep is one of them. Routine and consistency around that sleep as well is huge. So you can have the most perfect nutrition, the most perfect exercise, but if you don't dial in the routine around, what time you go to bed, what time you wake up, sleep quality, you're fighting against the system. You're fighting against your own body system because you will have natural ebbs and flows of everything, of energy, of hunger, cravings, and if those are not like if you let's say your bookends of the day are not consistent, you are increasing the likelihood that those things are gonna, well, trip you up basically. So if we can get the bookends of the day, like the time I wake up and the time I go to bed, it's the same on the weekends as well. When we have when we have a social occasion, it's very challenging. Of course, that is if it's just friends around, I'll just go. I'm going to bed. You know what I mean? It's like, and then Viola will be like up until like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like this, going to bed. And it's like 9:30. So I'm like, see ya. And they're like, oh, okay. Because for me, I know how much it impacts me. Like it. I don't drink alcohol, so that's not a concern. But like, for example, Friday night, if we have my brother come over and they're watching a film, I'm going to bed because I know that if I don't wake up if I go to bed at like 12 or 1, I know I'm going to wake up later and I'm going to be knackered. I just that shift in my sleep it puts me in a foul mood, and I will be more susceptible then because of that for poor food, and that's basically what happened the weekend, not the weekend just gone, the weekend. Was it last weekend? I think it might have been last weekend. Yeah, my brother was here. I was fine with my sleep. I cut that off, but because of that, because I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do. I wanted to go to the gym in the morning. I couldn't because I was, having family breakfast and stuff. I got pulled into that, and that's purely on me. I could have sat there while everyone was having brezel and and all these hams and cheeses, but I could have sat there and eaten my yogurt and stuff, and I wanted to. I did. When I was on the live call, I was even saying that last week. I think I was mentioning it. It was either on that one or the one before, and I succumbed, and I had like a Käseboard, which is like a cheese bread, and then I had like ham and cheese. It wasn't bad, but like that was the catalyst for me then to have a gyros on the evening. You know what I mean? So like I think I think the routine is very important. Routine is key around sleep wake cycles, and then and move those big needles. So your food and your sleep are massive rocks. They're big rocks that are going to be, if you don't have those in place, they're going to really impact your motivation. Whereas things like, you know, nutrient timing. So nutrient timing is when you have like whether you have protein or carbohydrates at certain meals, that's going to have this level of impact on your motivation compared to the sleep. So it's not a concern. And same with supplements. Supplements are good, but it's going to have this much impact on your motivation. It's not going to be, I've taken St. John's wort now. And now I feel like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the gym. I feel like I've got motivation coming through me. It's never the case with that. It's always the case of those big needle things, the lifestyle stuff that we can impact. And that also, like stress is one of them as well. Stress is a big boulder that if we don't control, we don't manage, then you're going to be swung into more of a sympathetic state. If you've heard of us talk about parasympathetic, which is rest and digest, and sympathetic, which is sort of like fight and flight. Basically, if you're going through peri or postmenopause, the hormones are bottoming out, so estrogen's dropped. So basically, you're going to shift very easy into that sympathetic state, that stressed fight or flight state. You'll get, the anxiety can rise up for no reason. You're more susceptible to that. You're more susceptible to being emotional, more susceptible to being stressed in general. Just like someone says, have you done that? And you might take it a bit weird. You're like, oh, you're a bit rude. So like think about you're more susceptible to that. Say, okay, so if I don't get my stress under control, I'm going to be pushed into this stress state. And if I'm stressed, I'll reach for wine. If I'm stressed, I'll sleep poorly. If I'm stressed, I don't want to exercise because I feel sorry for myself, or I'm in a woe is me sort of attitude. So it matters. It really matters about the routine and also just sort of literally dotting your I's and crossing your T's. So we'll put together like a document on motivation SOS plan because I think it's so good to be able to know that you've got when the motivation drops, just glance at that and go, okay, this is what I'm going to implement. I'm going to have my lifeboat come out and save me because I'm drowning in a sea of no motivation. Because sometimes it's the bare minimum. What do I need to do bare minimum? And it's not the optimum that we're shooting for, the optimal. For example, Laura, 10,000 steps. You know, whatever like that for you, it might not be that. Okay, cool. If I'm not hitting that because work is just stupid and they're making me work crazy hours, what is optimal? Okay, probably optimal's 10. I could probably do 8,000 without stressing too much. Okay, so 8,000, I might need to adjust my food slightly. No problem. It's understanding that what adjustments you need to make if this happens, then this happens. I need to change this. I need to change this, and this. So I'll explain it in the document, and I can get that out to you ladies today. But obviously, any questions, just flick them through on the comment post because you'll have a think about this conversation, and you'll be like, and you got no conversation, no questions. You'll be like, oh, that's really cool, really good, and then you'll be like sitting at home and just you'll go, oh, I need to ask that because my motivation thing is this, and this, and that's a bit more complex for me to understand. So ask the questions, obviously, when we put the document up. Ooh. And yeah, let's get the let's build your lifeboats. Let's build them. All right, I won't keep you too long. But is there any other questions before I let you go? No. Beverly said, I've been good at the exercise, but the snacking has been slowly coming back. So this has been really interesting. Oh, thank you. I think with the snacking, it's you've got to identify why that's coming back. So just a quick one with that. If the snacking is coming back, it could be what we talked about. It could be stress, could be sleep, it could be lack of routine. It could be composition of your meals. Have you been having so when I say composition of meals, what are the meals made up of before the snack. So let's say you're snacking at, I don't know, I'm snacking at 8 p.m. Okay, so what is the evening meal looking like? Is there substantial food across the day, or is it a caloric makeup that your body's trying to make up? That's number one. And look at the composition. Is there enough fiber? Is there enough protein at that evening meal to satiate you? Because if you've eaten well, really, really nice Monday, sorry, breakfast and lunch, and then on the evening you're like, oh yeah, I just had some carrots and some hummus. Of course you're gonna snack because there's no substance there on the evening, right? Calorically, it's not a lot. So your body's going to be pushing you pushing that hunger drive more so that you eat more. Um and then and sometimes it's habitual, right? With snacking, it's habitual. Like everybody loves a good little watch of Netflix with some snacks, some nuts, some crisps, crisps or whatever. I call them crisps because my niece used to call them that. But like if that's the case, can we make healthy alternatives? Because it's a nice thing to be able to snack. Like, could you make some? We give a recipe to one of our clients who loves savory stuff. So we gave her roasted chickpeas. So if she does, they're going to be hard to overeat on, but they're seasoned with paprika and stuff like that. So they're not, healthy protein here, good fiber content, roasted in the air fryer or in the oven. You're laughing. There's a nice little handful. You portion them out. Don't take the whole bowl. And it's the same with any snacks. You portion them out. You don't go like, oh, I've got this whole bag of Haribo's. If you want some Haribo's, you want some whatever it is, just put them in a little. Sometimes like you can get like little uh soy sauce pots, or you can put them in like even just like an egg cup holder. And you go, okay, I can have whatever, like little things like this, whatever I can fit in here. I'm gonna have. So if it's Haribo's, you probably fit in 6 sweets. And if you need more than six, it's not like a, oh, I just want to enjoy the craving. I just want to enjoy it and eat the snacks and watch the Netflix. We're being greedy because you don't need more than um like a chocolate bar. We don't need more than 6 to 10 Haribo sweets. We're going from just satisfying a craving here to a bit of a glutton, and I'm 100% guilty of that. Like that's why England is dangerous for me with biscuits. You know, milk, chocolate, hobnobs. Ooh. The whole pack with a cup of tea. From there, I will forego breakfast and lunch, and I can do the whole pack. But then I feel really sick. I just say like this. But during it, I'm like ooh, and then 10 minutes after, I'm done. I'm out for the yeah. I'm not a yeah. I get angry at myself then. Okay, so yeah, really good point. So let's keep an eye on those snacks. But I think this was really good to understand a bit about conscious decoupling, motivation, SOS plan. Let's put things in place. Does anybody got any questions about the weekend before I let you go? No? Happy days. That means you're all gonna have a fantastic weekend then. All on fire, all ready to go, all ready to check in Monday. Okay, we'll catch up Monday then on the so I'll see check-ins and stuff. If there's any questions you've got, let us know throughout the weekend. Drop it in the MYM Academy. I will see you on Monday. Have a nice weekend.
Thanks,
Sure.
Dean.
You're welcome. You're welcome,
Cheers,
Bev. You're
guys.
welcome, Leanne. You're welcome, Laura. See you later.
Bye.
Bye, bye, bye.